This is a dork party. The more the merrier. And just like that, we're back. It is a new episode of Basic AF. Tom and Jeff back at it again. Jeff, West Coasting it again.
Here I am on the West Coast in another Dahmer basement. The brother of Jeffrey Dahmer.
It's a family tradition, it seems.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
And the bodies underneath the concrete are another family tradition. Actually, truth be told, and this is legit. So, sad story. My niece's one of her bunnies had to be euthanized this week. I know we're starting off on a
high note. Great.
Moment. Yeah. Welcome to the Basic AF show. But we were going through like how many animals are buried in the backyard of this house, and it's like, dude, some archaeologist is going to come here and think it was a cemetery, or
so that's the family home.
King's going to be writing a new novel. Yeah, this is I moved here, I think about when I was 5. It was shortly after my next brother was born. My parents had a house across the back fence. They were renting a house across the back fence. And Mr. Hughley, I think that was the guy's name, sold my parents this house and sold me a tree in the backyard for $1. So I owned a tree. That was
cool.
Kind of sweet.
Yeah.
Gave me a little deed written on a piece of paper for it. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd lived here for until I left home.
Nice.
So, This is the place. This basement didn't exist at that time.
Right.
Jeffrey Dahmer has to.
And you said that's your brother's studio now, is that right?
It is my brother's studio. So he does, some voiceover stuff here and some music and stuff like that. So
nice.
He was kind enough to share his space with me. And here I am. It's actually pretty cool. He's got a bunch of music stuff around. It's way more decorated than is my spot at home, which I have to change, I think. I need to.
Yeah, I'm surrounded by clothes. so it's better than that.
Right. Cool. And that dress looks great on you, too.
Well,
you're looking so hot in that
doll up for you
dress.
A little bit.
I appreciate it.
Real quick, we're on the shorter format. We did the last show came in at about 30 minutes, give or take, and we did get some good feedback on that. And we were excited about that. We felt like that show turned out pretty well, and I think a few people did get in touch with us, and they liked the shorter format. So we're going to stick with that.
Definitely.
I think it helps us stay more locked in, more on focus.
Yeah.
I struggle with that anyway. Cool. So anything to help is good.
Yeah, we got an email this week, actually about the subscription stuff, which, and actually the cost of subscriptions going up. So, thank you to Mr. Abe Frennis for sending us a little note. We appreciate that. It. So there's your shout out, pal. Thank you.
Send us another. We'll do it again.
Yeah, right. Pretend that you like us, and we'll pretend that we like you back.
Right. Yeah. Easy peasy. Yeah. So also, as we released that show a couple of weeks ago, that was the same day that Apple had scheduled their Scary Fast event. So they did have that event. Nice. I thought the event was kind of cool. It was a different take for them with the Halloween theming and the dark backgrounds and some of the effects and things they had. Strictly a Mac event, which everyone kind of expected, but we did get the M3 chip, M3, M3 Pro.
In 3 flavors.
M3 flavors.
In 3 flavors.
Right? Yep. And the M3 Max on the MacBook Pros. What you think?
I'm not in the market at the moment, although I am back in the Bay Area, so we can run that joke for the
stolen.
5,000th time. But I like it. What's pretty interesting is these computers are getting so juicy now for the average person, like Joe Me, who sits here and types words and sits doing a podcast. It's a lot of bang. It's a lot of bang for the buck. So I like them all. I'm not in the market for any of them. So there's nothing about it that gets me that way. The one complaint that a lot of people have had is, go for it, Tom. What is it?
8 gigs of RAM on the entry model. Feels like we've had 8 gigs of RAM for a long time.
Yeah, and Apple's line is, which I'm not going to argue with this, honestly, is that 8 gigs of RAM with that RAM on board the main chip, like 16 gigs, they say, of regular RAM. I know there's a lot that you can wrangle about. You can get a $200.
Would you like me to do that a little bit, or are we going to try to stay positive
Tom.
today?
No, Tom. What would this show be without you bitching a little bit?
Well, no, I was going to say, so when we started testing the MacBook Airs at work, the first model we got was an 8 gig model. No, I'm sorry. That's incorrect. It was the M1 13-inch MacBook Pro. Yes. It was an 8 gig model. And for what I do, it really was fine. So I don't think performance-wise, if you're like us and you're going to just do emails, web browsing, things like that, I think, yeah, okay. I think the biggest issue I have with it really is this is a $1,500 laptop that the entry-level model is. So I think MacBook Air starting at 8 gig, Mac Mini starting at 8 gig, especially the Mac Mini, because that comes in around $500, I think. That makes sense. But a $1,500 laptop, it seems cheap, right? So it's 8 gig. And the real kicker is, so today all I'm doing is browsing and, doing some emails or whatever. But say 6 months from now, I decide to start a YouTube channel and I want to do some video because I've always, I like this stuff now. I can't upgrade the RAM.
Right. And so, that is problematic. You got to think ahead.
Right. And a lot of times, though, you don't know what you don't know. And it's like, okay, well, geez, now I guess I'll get another laptop. It's not that the 8 gig laptop couldn't do it. It could. Now, if you're, and the asterisk there for all of it is the people that need more than 8 gigs know they need more than 8 gigs. And they'll get 16 or 32 or whatever it is. But they do have to pay extra to get it, which goes back to that. If this is a pro laptop at $1,500, 16 gigs seems like it should be the starting point.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. And I can tell you my rule of thumb on buying any of these things for the last many, many years is double whatever the base model is. That's the way that I've played the game. So, but I would say it does. And if they started with 16 gigs, I wouldn't double that. That's
right. And they know that.
Yes, they do, don't they?
There's some very smart people there.
These marketing cats got smarts, or the money making people have smarts.
The finance office is dialed in at Apple. No question about that.
Yeah, they know the deal. So but that has been. It has been a complaint about Apple computers since
a long time.
The first little Mac showed up in a little bag that you plopped on your desk and stuck a couple of diskettes into. That not new.
So we have a new color, space black.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. Have you?
Well, not in person. No, I've only seen pictures. It's not black. It's darker gray.
Correct.
And one thing they did mention was that they've got a new coating that should reduce the fingerprints, because I think that's a big complaint with the Midnight MacBook Airs. It seems to accumulate fingerprints quite a bit, which I think still is a nice color. I've seen that one, and it looks nice. So I'm sure this looks good too.
I'm sure it's great.
I always buy silver just because I just buy silver. But
if I were getting something new, then I might get that one. I kind of like that color.
Yeah. iMacs got updated as well.
They did.
To the chips. No design changes on those. So still 24-inch display, 4.5K.
Which those are great computers. One of my client has one of those. And first of all, she loves it. She thinks it's the best thing going. She said next time she would get a purple one. She refers to it as greenie. She got a green one. And she loves the green one. She really does. But when she gets when she's in the market for a new one, it's gonna be purple. But yeah, and I like the color scheme on those. I got to say, unlike the iPhones,
I'd like to see that come down to the MacBook Air. I'd like to see some different colors for that.
That would be kind of fun, right? Yeah, I agree. That would be kind of a slick play if they did that. I think you'd see a lot of people that would buy those. And by the way, MacBook Air is still, I think, a killer buy. I was talking with my aunt and uncle yesterday, and they're running, I think, a 2013 MacBook Pro. And they were asking me what they should get to replace that, because it's kind of running. The battery's gone, and to replace it's a couple $100, but the computer can't even be updated. And they were surprised at first that I said MacBook Air, and it's like, no, I think this is.
Yeah, they're so nice.
Really are.
Yeah, I love the one I have from work, and I think I told you the other day, if I were buying now, I wouldn't get the 16-inch Pro. I'd just get maybe the 13-inch MacBook Air, or maybe the 15. I haven't seen the 15 in person yet, but the 13 is great.
I did just see one of those. Another one of my clients got one, and it's a great computer. It's really nicely sized and still kind of lightweight, thin.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but Jeff, an important thing.
Yes,
we need to pour one out for the Touch Bar. The final Touch Bar model has been retired. The 13-inch MacBook Pro with M2 did not get upgraded, and that was the last one with the Touch Bar.
I don't know that anybody's going to miss that. I think it was a fun idea to try, but I don't think the value add was.
And people kind of, rip on Apple a little bit for not experimenting more, and then they do things, and people rip on that. So it's like, I'm sure
the best thing I saw on that Touch Bar was. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I just interrupted for the 4,000th time in this podcast. I think the best thing that I ever saw with the touchpad was somebody made it so you could play Doom on the touchpad itself. So Doom was running on the touchpad. So that was kind of fun.
Yeah. I mean, it was an interesting idea, but where it was placed, no one's looking at that. Right? You're always looking at the display, and I don't know. I'm a little surprised they actually released it, because it was kind of wacky. Like when you saw it at first, you're like, wow, that looks cool, but the practicality of it just wasn't there enough to do anything with it. That was kind of handy for scrubbing through YouTube videos and things like that, but
that and photos in your photo library,
right? Maybe music if you were doing something
through that,
right?
Yeah.
So there we go. That's the event. Pretty much, it was 30 minutes shot on iPhone, which had some people worked up. Of course, everything works everybody up these days. Got to have something to post about on YouTube and social media. But
the funny thing about that, by the way, is people complaining that they were using lighting and that they were using dollies. It's like,
you don't say.
What kind of crack are you guys smoking? Have you ever seen what happens when people film stuff?
Right. If they'd have used a $10,000 camera, guess what? They'd have still had those same things.
Exactly right. And I think the point is, and this is pretty amazing, really, is that the iPhone, because they're able to shoot directly to disk, they can shoot directly to an SSD. This is pretty a lot of bang for your buck for being able to use that phone as a camera. And I'll say that one of the things that was surprising to me, and this is 10, maybe 15 years ago, that people were starting to use SLRs, digital SLRs, as professional film cameras. This is kind of the next iteration of that. This is a phone that can pull that kind of stuff off. So, your average guy who can't afford a RED camera, one of those, I don't know what those things cost now, $10,000 or something like that. You can use an iPhone Pro Max. And as long as you have the right lighting, you can shoot just like the pros do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on, Steven Soderbergh's been shooting on the iPhone for a long time. Not in a gimmicky fashion, and they were doing some fun stuff. They were using wheelchairs, and Soderbergh was using wheelchairs and stuff like that as dollies to move the camera. It's I think it's it puts a lot in the hands of someone that's willing to do that kind of work, and it's going to take lighting no matter what.
And a lot of indie people have used iPhones for several years with the Filmic app and things. So, I think this just keeps getting better and better. But
agree. So the complainter's going to complain, but it's pretty impressive.
That's how we do podcasts: is we complain.
Well, right.
I'm here for that
money
part.
Is.
Yeah,
you always are. By the way, I just want to point out that the lighting in my studio is way the hell better than yours is right now. So look at this,
dude!
My face looks.
Well, yeah. Again, I'm in the closet, man. Lights right in my face.
That's a whole nother story.
Keeps me awake.
We can get around that. I'm in San Francisco. We can work that out for you.
Well, we'll come up with a special episode. We'll travel there together. And the rumors will really fly.
Woo!
All right. So the event, all wrapped up, I think, short, sweet, to the point it was. And so I think upgrade-wise, if you are on an Intel Mac,
oh, no question.
Yeah, when you're ready and want to do it, you're in for a treat, I think.
You've got a lot of options all the way down the line now.
Yeah. If you're on an M1, probably not. M2, definitely not. Again, unless you're in that really high, but small percent of folks who need to eke every last bit of performance out, or you need to do reviews on YouTube.
Yes.
You can get that, but otherwise I think you're good.
Agree.
Okay.
All right, Tom, we're on to the next step.
Let's do it.
So this is a mostly tech podcast, and we've got some exciting news today. Well, Tom has some exciting news. I have a pile of pictures, not right in front of me this second, but I have a pile of pictures that Tom just sent me of the new gym you set up in your garage. So you've moved from the closet to the garage. We're on our way out the front door. That's a good thing. But it's it's a really amazing setup. You've been wanting to do a home gym for a while, and so I want to have you tell us a little bit about the kit you put together, what you did, how you set everything up. But I'm telling you, I would come work out at your gym, Tom.
Well, you're welcome anytime.
Good.
I 6 hours away, but anytime you want to come.
Yeah, I can come and do that. Right. Yeah. Right now, it's definitely 6 hours by plane away.
Right.
So tell us a little bit about kind of the design, the dream, what it is that you did, what kind of kit you got for that very slick, very colorful, I want to say, very old Apple color.
It is, yeah.
System.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah. So I have been pretty much regularly going to the gym since I was in my mid-20s. Doesn't necessarily look like it.
Tom.
I'm not a big dude.
Looking hot, pal.
Well, it's just for you. But
heck of a lot of noise.
He did. Your desk fell apart or something. I like that. Sorry for tripping, but I like that Oakland A's thing back there behind you on the.
Oh yeah.
Is that a door or window or wall? I don't know what that is, but.
Oh, that's it. That is the wall.
Okay.
The wall. So it's old A's when A's were still kind of in the Bay Area. They are ish, and then anyway, yeah, A's, Dubs, Raiders. Once upon a time.
Yep. Okay. So anyway, back to the story. I've been going to the gym for over 20 years, and it's never been a social thing. Like for some people, the gym is like their social hour, and they go and they spend 3 hours there and they talk to a lot of people. And I never really have done that. Even in my 20s, I didn't do that. I just kind of went in, did my thing, and left. And if there were some people there that maybe I worked with or knew from other places, quick hello or whatever. But so I've always done that. And then, of course, during the pandemic, a lot of the places had to close down temporarily. And then when they reopened, they had some restrictions in place and things like that. But when they shut down, there was a mad scramble for people looking to equip their homes with something to work out with. Mm-hmm. And so I kind of started this then. Like I picked up an adjustable bench. I got some adjustable dumbbells, and then eventually one of those air bikes. And so that was kind of the start of it for me. And then, when the pandemic restrictions kind of eased up and everything, and I started to go back to the gym, I found after having worked out at home and never having to wait for a piece of equipment to open up, I really didn't have the patience for that anymore. Because when you just expect that, you don't. It's always annoying, especially like when the person's sitting there on their phone or they're jaw jacking. You can always tell when it's jaw day at the gym and everybody's just talking. But so I was like, and the place that I went to here in town is a very nice facility. It's owned by the local hospital, and it's actually partially a medical facility. So they've got these standards they have to meet for cleanliness and everything. So it was always top notch. And they always had, housekeeping staff there cleaning, taking towels around, wiping down things. So it was always super clean, which I always liked because not all gyms are like that. Some are kind of dingy. But that annoyance factor of waiting because the free weight section there was relatively small. There were like 4 benches, 1 squat rack, and a couple power racks. And of course, with CrossFit and its popularity, and like free weights are quite popular now. And so those were always in use. And so what should take 40 minutes would take an hour and 15, or you had to sub out exercises, and, it ain't the end of the world, but it's a nuisance.
But for the old man who doesn't want anybody on their lawn, it was a pain.
I don't like to leave the house, so any extended amount of time I have to spend somewhere is too much. So, our house was built in the late 90s, and when the original owner had it built, he had a 2-car garage, and then he had like a 12 by 12 additional kind of section in the back of it as you pull into the garage. That was his workshop. Okay. And so we traditionally have just used that as a storage space. And so we'd have shelving along the walls, and I had the riding mower in there and everything. And so, a lot of people, though, that go to the gym are always like, man, it'd be nice to have a suite set up at home, and then I don't have to go. The kids can jump in if they want to and maybe start using it as well. And so looked at it. We had some conversations here in the house, and the wife was all for it. She was like, you've always wanted to do it. You should just do it. So step one, I think that really helped kick it off, is there was a new storage facility that opened up just up the street from us. And so we were able to rent a storage unit.
An American tradition, by the way.
Exactly. Yeah. Never throw anything away. Just pay for storage to hold junk. Because I got cash to burn. I really don't.
Right.
But, right. Yeah. I'm hoping, though, that, in 6 to 12 months, I'll get tired of paying the storage fee, and that'll be like the incentive to get rid of all that junk and then get out of the storage
Get the dumpster
place.
fee.
Right. But anyhow, so it's literally up the street, which was kind of like the key thing, because I didn't want to have to drive 15 minutes to the storage place. I could drive 15 minutes to the gym. It's like, what's the point? So we got all the stuff out, cleaned it up, touched up the walls and everything. And so while I was kind of doing that, like, I started researching what I might want. And this is where the tech part kind of comes into the story, to stay on narrative here. But
yeah.
And so, you kind of, like I said, picked up the bench, I'd picked up the dumbbells, and it was kind of in our living room at this point, and the air bike was in our office. I think it's going to stay inside. I just don't have enough room, because the space is basically 12 by 12, but part of it is still going to be functional garage space. There's like a wire shelving unit and everything. So I'm probably in a 12 by 9 space, maybe.
Sure.
So what I did is I would did most of this on the iPad. And so I would...
Wait, when you say you did most of it on the iPad, what do you mean?
So the design, kind of, sketching that out, the research. So there are a ton of videos on YouTube that people do for their home gyms, garage gyms, basements, whatever the case may be. And so I started looking at those. And so what I did is, generally I would just do it at the end of the day. I was propped up in bed right before bedtime, and would watch some YouTube videos. I set up a note in the Bear app, which is my notes app. And I like it because, it has sketch capabilities. You can add links to it. I mean, it's pretty much like Apple Notes. It's just not Apple Notes. It's easier to get your notes out if you decide to move on. And I think it looks nicer. But so what I do is I would watch the videos. Anything that was of interest, I would just hit the share extension, drop it into the Bear note. I kind of had an idea of which vendor I wanted to use. There are a couple of primary vendor. I mean, there are a ton of vendors, but there's some big ones, like Rogue Fitness is one of the top ones. Rep Fitness is another. PRX has come on the scene of late. They're big on the wall-mounted racks that actually fold down. So when you're done, you just stick it back up on the wall.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Which is pretty nice, because remember, this is still somewhat of a functional garage space. So I ended up going with the Rogue Fitness setup. That's who I had bought the adjustable bench from a few years ago. And it's super heavy duty. It's a little pricey, but I've learned as I was looking at this, there's a saying, buy once, cry once. So, instead of buying cheap a couple of times, you just suck it up and pay for it. But it's, the rack I got was the Rogue. You'll like this. This sounds like a PC name or something. RML3W fold back wall mount rack. And I was like, holy crap. It's 3x3, 11 gauge steel. So it's heavy.
Yeah, it's pretty solid. Looking at these pictures, yeah, I can see it's a mother and bolted to the wall.
Yep. Yeah, so I got the stringer kits, which are 59 inches wide, 10 inches tall. And so basically they want you to hit this thing on 4 studs in the wall. And so that's what we did. Now, the bottom part of our garage is block wall. And so if you can see it in the picture there, we've got some half-inch plywood because the drywall portion of the wall sat out about a half-inch over the block. And so we put the plywood down there for the second stringer and the hammer drill to drill into that. And that was the longest part, was just getting those things on the wall.
Sure.
And then the rest of it was just, a lot of cranking on ratchets and stuff to get the bolts in and all that stuff.
Good thing you were working out before that.
Yeah, I was tired last night. And so what I did, though, is I would go and, so I'd watch these different videos, look at some articles, go to the websites. And so I had a number spreadsheet that I would put, I kind of went through and just listed everything I wanted. So that would be the rack, the bar, the different weights, any attachments that I thought I might need that go on the rack. So I got like a bar holder. You can see in the picture there, that bar is hanging kind of perpendicular there. And then that was just for budgeting purposes. And so what was nice, that was, I was testing Stage Manager for a good part of that. And that actually worked pretty well because I could have Safari open and then the numbers spreadsheet open kind of off on the side there. And I had it kind of in like an iPhone size window, right? So it was the real small third screen or whatever, third of a screen. And then I could kind of plug my numbers in there as I was going through. I'd put links in there, maybe some notes, say, okay, this is probably phase 1, phase 2, because I've also learned that a garage gym is never really finished. So I've got other things I need to get, but that's not until next year sometime. And so that all worked pretty well too. But what I really liked was using the grid note paper and Bear, and I think Notes has that too. It's pretty easy once you have your measurement to kind of get things to some sort of a scale using that grid paper, right? So it's just like if you're sketching it out on physical paper. And so what was really nice about having it digitally is you can make your first sketch of the space and then just duplicate it. And then you can have 5, 6, 7, 8, move things around. And so I did all that just kind of, fooling around with the positioning of the pieces that I wanted to get. So Black Friday is kind of the opportunity to save a bunch of money on these things for anyone who's considering this. And Rogue actually
like the real Black
month.
Friday, or one of the Black Fridays that they have now in August.
Well, that's what I wasn't sure about. And so people were saying Rogue usually does like a matte black November, like the whole month. And I was like, okay, a whole month. And so they did. And so I went ahead and pulled the trigger on the stuff that I wanted to get. All got here before the space was really ready. And so I had all these boxes in the garage stacked up. I had junk everywhere that I was throwing out. I had to paint the walls. We went to one of the local farm stores and bought stall mats. That's what's on the floor. So like the horse stall mats.
No, it's great.
Yeah, 100 pounds piece, 4x6, 3/4 inch. Again, another tip from YouTube, because they're like $50 a piece versus like the regular gym rubber floor, which can be quite a bit more expensive.
Nice.
So
that's good play by somebody.
Yeah, tried to save some bucks there. I did end up getting everything shipped for $5 through the Matte Black November sale.
Considering how many pounds of stuff was this?
455.
Yeah. Okay. For $5, not bad.
Right. Well, because I went back and looked at some of my old receipts, and like that bench that I got, I think it was the bench. The shipping on that was like $150.
Yeah.
So I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
And I did
$5
save
shipping's killer.
Yeah, and I saved $160 on the components as well. So that worked out pretty well. I had bought the weights back in, I want to say it was in late September, because they had a free shipping thing on the weights. So I got the bumper plates just because I wanted the color, just to spruce it up a little bit, because the rack
which is nice,
black.
by the way. It looks really slick. I like all of those.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I'm really happy with how it turned out. I did find on Etsy a guy who's actually up in Pennsylvania. He uses his 3D printer and makes receptacle covers that go on your duplex receptacle, but on the top he's built a little stand for a HomePod Mini,
Yeah. You showed me those.
Yep. And there's a space, it's thick enough up on the top where you can tuck the cable in that charges the HomePod Mini. So I've got a couple of Apple gift cards that I got for my birthday and Father's Day that I've held on to just for this. And so I'm waiting to see if those go on sale with Apple, maybe save a few bucks here in a couple of weeks. But
Gonna get some colored HomePods?
Yeah, I think I might do the orange ones.
Okay, cool. That's a good fit for there.
Yeah. And so I'll have my tunes there with AirPlay, of course.
If that works, but yeah.
Well, yeah. Workout motivation when you get raged out on AirPlay not working. And so that should be pretty good. They also have the temperature thing, so I can say, "Oh God, it's only 42 degrees in the garage." but the door to the house is right there, so if it gets too cold, I can do my set and come back in.
Run in, yeah.
Yeah.
You can also get a little space heater for in there too.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and in the summer we'll see because it gets fairly warm there, but I think if I open the window and the garage door and just have a fan to pull some of that heat out, it'd probably be okay. Because I'm not in there that long. It's maybe 45 minutes or so.
Yeah, rather than the hour and a half to 2 hours at the gym.
Yeah, between the travel time and you walk in, you get started, you wash your hands, you go to the restroom, you wait a couple minutes for the thing to open up that you need to get to. So just that convenience, I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, and I'm going to say again, and we're coming up near our little 30-minute moment, but this looks as professional as anything I've seen. It's a really slick setup. The Rogue kit that you got, the actual, I don't know what you call the thing, but because I'm not a weight dude, I'm a go hike in the backyard dude. But it really. It's as good as you would expect to find in any gym anywhere. I don't think.
Yeah, so they're a big CrossFit company. So a lot of the CrossFit boxes have the Rogue stuff in it.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's a really slick setup, great color scheme. In terms of the actual weights that you got, they're green, black, yellow, blue. I don't know what's on the other side, but you've got a really nice. I think there's a white one there too. Mm-hmm. It really is. Yeah, the neighbor's going to be coming over asking if they can use your gym. Is I think what's going to happen.
Please do. Get some use out of this thing.
Yeah, it really is. And your wife's going to use this too.
I think so. Yeah, both the kids have already said they want to jump in on it, and that's one of my objectives with it. Is to kind of get them into the lifting scene. I think it has a lot of benefits, for health and mental health.
Sure.
And this. I mean, any type of activity, it doesn't have to be weights, but any type of activity, typically mentally, you'll always feel better after you 100%.
That's why I play soccer every Sunday.
Yeah. And I think, the mental aspect of, just going and doing it, even if you don't want to do it, some days, the days you don't want to do it, end up being the best workouts you have. And so that just, I'm hoping to spend some more time with them. And because like my youngest, who's 12, he's like, does it have a pull-up bar? I want to learn to do pull-ups. And because he's got at school, he's done a couple, but he's really into it. And my teenager's into it. Says he is. We'll see what he does. And I'm not going to browbeat him.
You know what? I bet you'll see. You're going to see those kids' friends, your kids' friends coming over. Mm-hmm. I 100% guarantee you when they find out that they can, they can be pumping iron.
Yeah. And I hope I get the chance to, hang out with all of them and kind of, teach them the proper way to do it and, the forms for the movements and all that kind of stuff. Cause it's it's a lifelong thing that if you stick with it, just pays huge dividends. So that's one of my goals is to kind of do that positive modeling for them and hopefully they'll jump in.
Yeah, no, I'd love what you did with this. It's really great looking and I'm really happy for you.
Thank you. I appreciate
I know you've been excited about this for a while. You've been shooting pictures and ideas. Yeah. And
probably wearing people out.
Really, no, it's been, it's been fun for me to see, it's been low-key Tom suddenly excited about that.
Yeah, I should probably go ahead and get that appointment on the chiropractor schedule lined up. In 2 weeks, I'll be down. Yeah, great. Good.
All right. Well, we've kicked another 30 minutes down the road, Tom. We've done a good job.
We did.
I think, of
we did.
knocking this out. If you have any questions about Tom's gym kit, feedback at basicafshow.com. Highly recommend that. You can find us at basicafshow.com. Tom, you have a newsletter.
We do. Yeah. If you go to tomfanderson.com, you can sign up for that there. And I will do a quick little post on that site too with some pictures of this thing.
Yeah, definitely.
So we'll put those in the show notes for those who want to see it and take a look. And if you have any questions about that stuff, I mean, it's not tech related, but I can try to answer those too.
This is a different kind of tech. And we are a mostly tech podcast.
Right. And there'll be more tech coming for it. Like maybe do some smart lights, some automations. Like if I can get a smart heater, right? Say, hey, I'm going to work out at 6:30. They have those. They do.
Yeah,
So you can set up your automation so that when you get home, it kicks it on. 30 minutes later, you're ready to go. I don't know. And workout tracking, maybe that's a thing too, because I do that in Bear as well. So
yeah, cool stuff.
So we can always tie it back in.
Absolutely. Show logo, Randall Martin Design. Highly recommend that you check Randall out. Great work. My sister's book she just got her first print copy of it. It looks frigging awesome. And we may pitch that here in a couple of weeks once those are available in bookstores. But it's a great book of poetry that she wrote, and really proud of her. And so we'll pitch that out. Music is also by Psychokinetics. Here's where I give up the real secret. I am in the Psychokinetics studio right now.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, right. So this is that is my brother Jacob. We kept that on the down low for a little while, but great tunes.
We should have him on sometime, talk about how he makes music.
Oh, absolutely. I think that'd be
fun.
A great idea. Yeah, he would. I think he'd love to talk about it. So I'm down here, and he's been doing a lot of music lately, a lot of stuff. So he is also Celsius 7, Psychokinetics, Celsius 7. I think that's a great idea. We could have him on here. It would be a lot of fun. All right.
Well, that should do
Tommy,
it.
good to see you, man.
You too, man. Glad you got to California. Safe and sound.
Too.
Don't let your stuff get stolen. I mean, unless you want to upgrade, but
there's always that.
That's it. And as always, we do thank you for being here, listening to the show, following us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Those numbers have increased. So we are grateful for that. We do appreciate it that you're
tell your friends
wanting to hang out with us. So thank you very much for that.
Tell them, two dorks that are
this is a dork party. The more, the merrier.
Correct. We're now weight dorks. You're a weight dork.
Right.
I'm still a, go kick a ball around dork.
Okay. It all works. So thank you again for being here. Hope you have a great rest of your day or rest of your night, and we'll talk to you next time.
See ya.